Now before we start to learn about different chart types, let us first look at different elements that constitute a chart. Here we have a chart displaying graph of profit margin and income. Income is plotted as vertical columns and the profit margin is plotted as line with square markers. This income and profit margin data is called data series, and the individual value of these data series, such as this single bar or this particular marker, are known as data points. So remember, a data series is a combination of several data points. Now this horizontal axis is known as category axis or just horizontal axis, and the label at the bottom, these months values written here, are known as the horizontal axis labels. Now similar is the nomenclature for the vertical axis, but if you notice in this chart we have two vertical axes. The one on the left is called primary vertical axis and one on the right is called the secondary vertical axis. We have created these two axes because there is a huge difference in the values of income and profit margins. While the values of income is in the thousands, the value of profit margin is in decimal points. If the profit margin were plotted using the left axis, the line for profit margin would not be even visible. It will be so close to the horizontal axis that we would not be able to even see it. Therefore, adding a separate secondary vertical axis solves this problem. Now we are able to add two different scales on a single graph. Again, the one on the left is known as primary vertical axis and its label is known as primary vertical axis labels. So these values of $240,000, $190,000, these are the primary vertical axis labels. And this one on the right is known as secondary vertical axis and its label are known as secondary axis labels. You can also notice that we have this informative box on the right hand side displaying what these bars and lines represent. These two values are known as legends of the charts. So this blue bar is representing the income and these orange line with orange markers is giving us the profit margin. You can also notice that we have these numerical values on the top of the profit margin. These values are known as data labels. We also have this chart title on the top containing the value income and profit. This chart also contains horizontal grid lines. Grid lines are basically the extension of the vertical axis scales, which makes it easier for the viewer to determine the magnitude of the data points. So for example, if I want to find out the value of income for the month of April, I can see that it is lying slightly above this $140,000 grid line mark. So I can approximate it to be around $150,000. If you hover over the bar, it is giving us the value of 152,000. So it is a pretty good estimate for the value. In addition to this, all charts have a chart area, which is this entire background area of the chart. So this highlighted square, this outer boundary is containing the chart area. And then we have a plot area. Plot area shows the actual chart, including the plotted data, the axis and the axis labels. So this small square inside the chart area is the plot area. So that's all for the nomenclature of charts. But why did we learn all of these? We learned all of this because Excel has independent formatting options for all of these elements, and it will be really helpful to divide any formatting task into manageable individual segments, and then we can format each of these individual elements separately. I know remembering them must be a difficult task, but everyone who is trying to master charts should know this nomenclature.